We all know LeBron has the power to get certain players on his teams over the years, and we saw this last season when LeBron was able to help get J.R. Smith to join the Lakers. Not to mention, he was also able to help get KCP a nice deal with the Lakers in the past as well with the Clutch Sports connection. Now, there's also another player who is good friends with LeBron and has that Clutch Sports connection, and that's Tristan Thompson. I think there's a solid chance Thompson will join the Lakers if Howard and McGee leaves, so let's go over how Thompson would fit in LA, what kind of contract he would get, and some other solid center options as well. And very quickly before we get into it, if you want to see more interesting NBA content just like this, be sure to drop a like and subscribe, as I really appreciate all your guys' support. So Thompson had a career year with the Cavs last season, as he averaged about 12 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 assists per game. However, with the Cavs trade for Andre Drummond and Larry Nance Jr. also already being on the team, it looks like Thompson's time with Cleveland is now over. If Thompson were to sign with the Lakers, he would be an excellent fit as a starter next to Davis or an elite backup center. Next to AD, Thompson allows Davis to play power forward, and he can help protect the rim and take on the more physical defensive assignments. Thompson would also provide great rebounding, and he's very good at getting those second chance points with his offensive boards. On offense, Thompson isn't very versatile as he gets a lot of his points on putbacks and some in the pick and roll, but we did see an interesting formation last season with the Cavs. Thompson attempted 0.4 threes per game and shot 39.1% from downtown, and while that's obviously very little, it's still something that popped out given that he barely ever attempted any threes previously in his career. It would be a great development if he can find a way to stretch his game out to the three-point line and shoot something like 1 or 2 threes per game on around 35% shooting. That would definitely help spread the floor and open up things for LeBron and Davis, and this is something that would be greatly appreciated as clock lanes were something of a hindrance at times last season when AD was on the floor with either McGee or Howard. That's why when we saw Davis and the Lakers thrive when he was playing with Markieff Morris, who is also another player I would love to see the Lakers bring back. Also, Thompson is a decent passer as well, especially for a big, and he can occasionally make that nice balanced pass to the cutter. Overall, Thompson will be more of an energy guy on offense for LA, and that would still be very useful in about 20 to 25 minutes per game. On defense, as I said before, Thompson is a pretty good rim protector that would help Davis in this area. However, what's really good about Thompson when he's at center next to Davis is that he's actually not too bad at guarding out at the perimeter as well. He has pretty quick feet for a center, and we've seen many times before that he can stay in front of some smaller players. This will certainly be useful when there's switches, and he wouldn't get burned in many of these plays. Overall, I think Thompson will be a great fit with the Lakers next to LeBron and Davis. I would not be surprised at all to see him sign something like a 1-year, $5 million contract and take a discount to play for a championship contender, and he could play very well in LA and then increase his value for next offseason. It would be really fun to see him reunite with LeBron, and I think he'll definitely help their chances for another chip. But for some other good options at center if McGee and Howard leave and the Lakers aren't able to get Tristan Thompson, first off I have Marc Gasol. He's probably the best player for the Lakers to get at center next to Davis, as Gasol is an amazing stretch 5 who can do it all. He can score in the paint, spread the floor with his 3-point shot, pass as well as some point guards, and also protect the paint. While he's definitely not as athletic as he once was, and he's definitely much slower, this is the guy who is one of the kings of defensive positioning, and his game on both offense and defense will be an amazing fit with the Lakers. A front court of Davis and Gasol will be so versatile on offense and still be excellent on defense, and this will be my favorite signing for the Lakers if they're able to get him for all of the free agent center options. Next up, I have Derek Favors. He's definitely a super underrated option, as Favors is a very good center who is a starting caliber player in my opinion. He struggled with injuries a bit this past season, but when healthy, he's an excellent rebounder and scorer in the paint. Think of him as a younger and better version of Thompson, and his defense is also excellent when protecting the rim. He'll likely cost more than Thompson, which is the main issue here, but he would be an amazing get for Lakers if they can get him for cheap. Next up, I have Aaron Baines, and I already made a video on this, so I'm going to briefly touch upon it. Baines is 33 years old, and he had a career year with the Suns this past season, and while he's getting up there in age, his game has aged really well, as he doesn't really rely heavily on athleticism. On offense, Baines is one of the most versatile offensive big men in the NBA, as he can score from anywhere on the floor, whether it be in the pick and roll in the paint, mid-range, and also from 3. In fact, this past season, he shot 35.1% from 3 on 4 attempts from downtown per game in only 22.2 minutes per game. Having another floor spacing big man next to Davis will give AD a lot more easy looks in the paint, as teams just cannot pack the rim like they used to last season when McGee and Howard were playing next to Davis. Also, the pick and pops between LeBron and Baines will be very effective as well, and I could see plays where Baines sets a screen for LeBron and then Baines can pop out for the 3, or that play can be used as a fake when LeBron then passes to cutting Davis for the easy bucket in the paint. On defense, Baines is not as athletic as he once was, but he is still one of the better rim protectors. He's also pretty mobile for a big man, and this allows him to be pretty good at switching out at the perimeter and guarding some smaller players. Overall, I think he would be a really nice get for the Lakers if they can get him for cheap, but there is a pretty good chance he'll just re-sign with the Suns. And now, we'll move on to DeMarcus Cousins. If he's even 70% of his former self, he would be a huge asset for the Lakers as either a starter or coming off the bench. He can score from anywhere on the floor, even though he did struggle a bit from 3 with the Warriors, but there's still a good chance he can get back to around league average from downtown once he gets into more of a rhythm. The front court of Davis and Cousins will be really versatile on offense, and I think they can find similar success to when they were both on the Pelicans together. But I think he would be best utilized coming off the bench as he can dominate opposing second units and will be the focal point of the offense at these times. The main problem with Cousins is that he is technically a risk, since we won't know what he'll look like after all those injuries. He'll likely be even worse on defense than when he was with the Warriors, as with Golden State, he was really slow-footed and got burned repeatedly in trying to guard the pick and roll. But if the Lakers can sign him to something like a 1-year veterans minimum contract, that would be a low-risk, high-reward move to see if Cousins can get back to being near that player he once was. And for one last player, I was thinking about Hassan Whiteside, but he just does not seem like a good fit with LA. He would have a great attitude if he were to come off the bench, and he doesn't stretch the floor and is sometimes just a stat pattern on defense and chasing blocks. I think the Lakers will be better off with any other option on this list, but he may be worth a try on a really cheap contract. So that's a wrap. Thank you guys all for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video and want to see more daily NBA content just like this, be sure to drop a like and subscribe, and also be sure to turn on post notifications so you can stay updated on when my newest video will be coming out. Also, be sure to follow me on Instagram and hit me up if you want to talk about basketball or business. Just drop a comment down below on my photo or DM me and I'll definitely try to get back to most of you guys there. Drop a comment down below on which center you want to see the Lakers sign. It could be Thompson or some other player on this list or someone you thought of. Let me know as I do all comments. I'm definitely interested to see what you guys have to say here as well. So without that being said, once again, thank you guys all for watching and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Peace.